240,000 miles from home, two off-roading astronauts expand the frontiers of human knowledge.
Hey, John, this is perfect with the loom and the rover and you and Stone Mountain.
The evidence they bring back leads to a mystery that spans more than 3 decades.
This is a saucer-shaped object with a dome on top.
Anyone that tells me that they can explain everything doesn't know what's going on.
April 21st, 1972. 36-year-old astronaut Charles Duke is about to become the youngest man to set foot on the moon.
And I look up at this enormous Saturn rocket, and it's fully fueled, and it's an eerie feeling because it seems like it's alive.
The mission, to bring back rocks from previously unexplored lunar territory. What Duke doesn't know is that he's about to bring back more than just geological samples.
20 fed. Contact. Stop.
Together with mission commander John Young, Duke touches down in the moon's southeast quadrant.
The missions have really shifted over to a significant scientific emphasis here. We're really operating now with the lunar rover. We're extending further out.
As you come around there, there's a rock in the near field on this rim that has some white on the top of it. We'd like you to pick it up as a grab sample. This one right here? That's it. You got it right there.
3 days later, with 200 pounds of moon rock safely stowed, it's time for home.
What a ride, what a ride.
Duke guides the lunar module to the rendezvous with the command module floating in lunar orbit. Before setting off for Earth, they retrieve film canisters from cameras outside the spacecraft. A textbook splashdown appears to mark the end of a perfect mission. But when the film is processed, the images suggest Apollo 16 may not have been alone.
There's something in one of the images. What is it? It's a question everybody's asking.
The only thing everyone agrees on is this is just about as close as you can get to the kind of flying saucer that you see in a Hollywood sci-fi movie.
But when the astronauts review the footage, they don't buy the UFO explanation.
It's impossible to have taken that and had there been an actual object out there not to have seen it. I'm looking at what the camera's seeing, and I certainly would have seen an object that was real, that was that big.
NASA's Jim Oberg concludes that this seemingly solid object must be a photo of Earth as seen from the moon. The trouble is, the Earth is in the wrong place.
Some UFO buff checked out the moon's position and found out it couldn't have been the Earth. That identification was wrong, and I had been mistaken.
The mystery remains unsolved for more than 3 decades. Until 2004, when advances in image analysis resurrect NASA's investigation.
32 years after this sighting, NASA boosts the image resolution and combines several different frames.
The new techniques reveal something unseen in previous images, a strut that appears to connect the flying saucer to the command module. After 3 decades of speculation, the sighting can be explained.
The object, in reality, was the command module spacewalk floodlight.
Just the same as any work site here in America, if you're going to be operating at night, you're going to need floodlights. So they needed a floodlight to be able to see what they were doing.
The 30-year-old mystery seems to have been put to rest. This flying saucer, at least, turns out to be a fantasy. Still to come, an ancient meteorite brings worm-like entities to Earth.
The president goes on live TV and says, it may not just be us.
And a mysterious fireball violates Russian airspace.
something came towards it, seemed to hit it. Maybe that's what caused it to explode.
Erupting from the eastern sky, a fireball streaks across Russian airspace and appears to blow apart.
Something is directed towards the object.
And maybe that's what caused it to explode.
Did the Cold War just reignite? Friday morning in Chelyabinsk, an industrial city in southern Russia. Commuters, school children, office workers settle in for the day ahead. 9:20 a.m. A strange, blinding light casts a shadow across the city, bringing people out onto the streets. The light suddenly disappears. Looking to the sky, astonished residents film a vast vapor trail overhead. Minutes later, an explosion rocks the city. Scientists record a blast 25 times larger than Nagasaki. Windows shatter and people fly off their feet. The city's shattered residents try to make sense of this aerial bombardment. Rumors of a hostile act against Russia flood the internet. Politician Vladimir Zhirinovsky even accuses the US of involvement in the strike on the city. In Moscow, NASA scientist Slava Turyashev searches for answers.
There are many conflicting reports. There is a significant anxiety, whether or not it's a single event or maybe there will be other events.
While NASA rushes to discover the cause of the cataclysm, the mystery deepens.
The days that follow this sensational event, word begins to spread. Maybe there was something else going on.
There are news feeds that seem to indicate that as this thing is entering the atmosphere as a glowing fireball, that something is directed towards the object, possibly stopping it, possibly breaking it up.
People are saying, yeah, something came towards it and seemed to hit it. And maybe that's what caused it to explode.
Images of the fireball's strange collision capture the public imagination. But when NASA studies the entire event, building a moment-by-moment timeline from dozens of different cameras, they see a different phenomenon. The people of Chelyabinsk witnessed a meteor disintegrating as it smashed through Earth's atmosphere.
As this object comes through the atmosphere, pieces are breaking apart. You see stuff flying in different directions. It's very easy to get a perception of something very odd. After all, this is an incredibly rare event.
The fireball's interceptor is really a fragment of the meteor keeping pace with the fireball. But NASA's explanation doesn't satisfy the citizens of Chelyabinsk, who are left with a devastated city. While searching for an impact crater that matches the explosive shockwave, they find nothing bigger than a swimming pool. The idea that whatever created the tiny impacts could also topple a city seems laughable. But according to Professor Lawrence Garvey, an expert in meteorites, the destruction in Chelyabinsk could be explained by the physics of a large, fast-moving object streaking through the atmosphere.
What we're seeing first with the Chelyabinsk meteor is its visual effect. It's coming in, it's breaking up. We're not hearing anything because the light is traveling to us almost instantaneously. We can see it immediately. But as we're looking at it, we're unaware that traveling towards us at the speed of sound is the shock wave. And it's almost like a fist punching a window really hard. But punching every single window in the town at the same time.
The energy released as the supersonic rock disintegrated above the city explains the destructive shockwave. But the devastation could have been far worse. The Earth's atmosphere shielded Chelyabinsk against the meteorite's full potential. NASA calculations suggest that our natural defenses only worked because the meteor was made of relatively soft rock. Had the 60-foot wide meteor been made of metal instead, it could have released the energy of 60 Nagasaki's.
Here in Arizona, we have the perfect example of what would happen. What looks like a 45-meter hill here is actually the edge, the rim of this spectacular crater. This gives you some sense of what a large meteor impact would do.
There are more than 80,000 metallic asteroids floating near us in space. Some of them may even be heading our way right now. Next, Star Wars comes to a sun near you.
Certainly hope it's not a Death Star, otherwise we're in serious trouble.